We'll call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody to the January meeting of the Monroe County Land Bank Corporation. On the agenda today, we've got two items: approval of the minutes from last month, and then discussion and around the committees, as well as nominations, and hopefully we can get all that taken care of today. Before we do that, we'll do a roll call. Kevin Purcell, I'm here. Annalise is here. Amy is here. Orlando here. Deborah here. Bob Franklin is here, and Thalia Wright is not here. She had a previously scheduled issue that she was not going to be able to make it. Terms of the approval for the December 16th, 2024 meeting minutes. Are there any corrections that anybody has to those meeting minutes? If not, can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Bob, thank you, Orlando. All in favor? Aye. Okay, wonderful. And now we move on to announcements and communications. The first is good news regarding our LBI funding. And Pat, if you want to, do you want to see your name on here?
Yep, so it's not official, but our LBI funding request should go before the Housing Trust Fund Corporation Board on January 23rd, where we expect to get it approved, but of course, we can't count that before it happens. But hopefully we'll know for sure that that money is incoming this year, which will significantly help our work. So as soon as I know, I will let you know. And then if we haven't made it aware, we are done with the ARPA contracting process, so that is official. We do have that $1 million from Monroe County to help us fulfill our mission. So that is a signed check, so we're good to go there. And then other than that, we're just continuing on with various paperwork that we need to get done to make sure this organization can get up and running. One thing I expect to bring to this board soon is information regarding bank accounts, other things that we need to set up so that we can actually accept the money from New York State and things like that. But that will be coming at future meetings. That's it.
Thanks, Pat. Nope. The other thing on here for in terms of announcements and communications relates to the press conference that we talked about last month having. And I don't know if you have more details on that at this point.
We anticipate a press conference, and Lisa, do you remember the day? I don't. The
21st.
21st, thank you. So we anticipate it will be Tuesday, January 21st. For this entity, we are planning on going to a community development house that is kind of a very similar to the work we will conduct. A lot of details still to be figured out, so I can't give you anything more than that. As soon as we know, we will let you know as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Is there anything I'm missing, Champ?
We just have a date right now, right? No time.
Correct.
Okay.
More to come on that. Okay, now we will move along to our committee discussion. And we've got three committees that we are looking to staff. The Governance Committee, Finance Committee, and Audit Committee. Just to kind of talk about what each of those will be covering. The Governance Committee is to keep the board informed of current best governance practices, review corporate trends, update the corporation's governance principles, and advise the board on the skills and experience required of potential directors. Pat, is there anything you want to add in terms of the governance piece?
No, I think, so you all have your handout. The only thing I'll add is that if we start some sort of hiring process in the future, that committee would likely be involved, especially if we get to a position that is high enough up to then be making policy decisions for this entity. So I expect that committee to partake in that, any other hiring we do as well. And then all these committees have specific duties, but will be added to as we see the need to add to them.
And I think it probably makes sense to do each of these committees one by one.
If that works for the board.
So we had circulated an email that I think everyone saw asking if people were interested in being part of these committees. So we have some names of people that volunteered. However, just because you might have volunteered previously, if you've decided, I don't want to do that, this is the time to speak up. For the Governance Committee, myself, Deborah, and Thalia all expressed interest. Is that still something that you're interested in doing? Okay. In order the process we need to do is to have somebody nominate the three of us for those positions on that.
I'm going to go ahead and move to nominate Kevin Purcell, Deborah Campanella, and Thalia Wright to our governance committee.
Thank you so much, Anna.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of, now we need I'm sorry, now we need a motion to close the nomination process.
So moved.
Can I have a second on that?
Sure.
Thank you. All in favor of closing the nomination process? Aye. Okay, nominations are now closed, and now we will call for a motion for myself, Deborah, and Thalia to be named for the 2025 Governance Committee Board members for a term of 1 year. Anybody have that
So
motion?
moved.
I'll second.
Thank you, Anna. Orlando, thank you. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we will now move on to the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee will, see, financial oversight of the organization, right? Budgeting, financial planning, financial reporting, creation and monitoring of internal controls and accountability policies. For this, we already have, it is required that the land bank treasurer is required to be the chairperson. So Amy, is, whether she likes it or not, I'm sure she's happy about it, is going to be on this committee and as the chair. We are looking for 2 other people. I had volunteered, and I believe Anna had volunteered as well, but if others are interested, we certainly would be open to that if anyone else is interested.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
Of course.
It says 3 independent directors. Are we all like, does this mean 3 individuals or like the real independent directors?
So- Yeah, it's a good question. We've asked the legal department for, some,
So I think ultimately, because we have not given remuneration yet, everyone is considered an independent director. I think if and when we give remuneration back, we might have to change the definition of the bylaws of independent director to make sure that we don't run afoul, but because we have not given any money from limit, you're all technically independent as of right now.
so again, just to make sure, thank you, that's a good question. Yeah, glad we got that clarified. Anyone else interested in being on the Finance Committee? Okay.
There's only 3 spots.
We
Leave at least 3. We certainly could have more if someone was interested.
I will volunteer to help out. Chair.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just to be clear, is that?
I nominate Bob Franklin.
Okay, okay, we have, now the question becomes, Anna, would you like to also serve on that as a 4th member? I wasn't sure if you,
The question, so I have a question. So we need a minimum of 3 and beyond 3.
we can have more than 3,
have
correct?
one.
We can, but if we have a quorum of the board meeting separately, then we have to have.
Oh, I
official
understand.
public
Okay,
Notice and meeting, and because we are a body of 7, 4 is a quorum.
got it.
So 3 is really makes
3 is
much
the
more
ideal
sense.
number.
Okay.
My humble opinion is that Mr. Franklin would be much more well suited to the
Okay.
seat than myself. But understanding that he's a very, very busy person, I will be glad to step in the event that scheduling challenges should arise. So let me know. But I would nominate, I can go ahead and move to nominate you, Kevin Purcell, in one of those 3 seats.
And Bob, and I will nominate Bob Franklin for one of those other seats. How
Okay,
about that?
all right.
Can I get a motion to close the nominations for this? Orlando, can I have a second for that? Thank you, Deborah. And all in favor of closing the nomination process? Aye. Okay, now, looking for a motion for Amy, myself, and Bob to be the 2025 Finance Committee members for a term of 1 year.
So,
Thank you, Orlando. Seconded. Deborah, thank you. All in favor of that? Aye. Okay. We will move on to the Audit Committee. The Audit Committee's duties will include the recommendation of hiring of a certified independent accounting firm to conduct the annual independent audit, establishing compensation to be paid to that accounting firm, providing oversight of the performance of the annual independent audit. I believe we had, if I'm not mistaken, Orlando, you had volunteered to be interested in that. Anna, you had also very nicely volunteered. I don't know if we had a third.
We have not, no.
Okay. I don't know if anyone is interested in serving on that committee as a third member.
well, I think three of us really shouldn't, right?
This is nominations, right?
Yeah.
Can you nominate Talia?
She technically needs to accept, which can happen at another meeting.
Does anyone else want to be nominated?
You know, I'm happy to do it, but I also don't want to, I'm also happy to have somebody else do it as well, having been on the other two committees.
I'm happy to do it as well.
All right.
You were looking right at me. so-
No, there's only so many faces to look at. I did not mean to. But I appreciate your
No
volunteer.
pressure.
Okay, so we have Orlando, Anna, and Deborah. I will ask for a motion to close nominations for that committee.
Or move it?
Yep, seconded. Thanks, Anna. All in favor?
Aye.
And now I will look for a motion to name Orlando, Anna, and Deborah to the 2025 Audit Committee for a term of 1 year. Thank you, Amy. Seconded, someone second that?
Second.
Thank you, Bob. All in favor? Aye. Okay. With that, we have completed our committee assignments for 2025. Thank you, everyone, for stepping up and playing a part and taking a role. Really much, very much appreciated. In terms of other business, Pat, I believe we've got a issue just with our November scheduling. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we created our schedule before the legislature came out with their 2025 schedule. And so we are scheduled to meet just before their November 12th, I think, meeting. So we're gonna need to move that time frame because otherwise several of us can't make that meeting. So we propose to move it to that Thursday. If it works for everyone, we can coordinate that via email. It's quite far away, but that's what we propose to do.
Thanks for the heads up on that. It's obviously quite a ways away. Our next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, February 12th at 4 p.m. Are there other topics that people wanted to discuss today, or Pat, that you wanted to bring up?
I just want to follow up about the email regarding the committees. So our intention now is to send out the policies that we have drafted, that law has drafted, to the appropriate committees. We'll send them to everyone. We'll make sure which ones you can take a look at. They may not match up with the guidance that was sent out previously because we don't necessarily need all of those policies at the outset. But what we'd like to do is then have your committee meet between now and the February meeting if possible. So that way you can discuss and review those. You can use our space, you can figure it out for yourself. Whatever you want to do, please let us know. We will help you do so. And then ideally, those committees will recommend any adoption or changes to those policies at the February meeting. And if we need to discuss further in more meetings, we can do so as well. But it is important to start adopting those policies because some of them are required for our grant applications. So that's the other thing about the email, and I should just reiterate this fact, is the breakdown of the policies isn't necessarily equal. And so if this board would like it to be equal where, you know, each committee gets 3 policies, let's say, rather than have it be that governance has the boatload, because that's really what we're trying to get underway at this point. You tell me what you would like to do, and I will make sure that I do it that way. So I would encourage the board to discuss what makes sense to them. And if you saw from the printout in the email, you have a list of policies that you could potentially review. So governance has potentially 5, finance has potentially 5 as well, and then audit has none current.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, I'm certainly okay with that as it is. I don't know if other folks have any
Okay.
issues with those.
I'm okay with it as it is. as well.
I don't need to ask a smart aleck question, but we didn't invent these from scratch, right?
No,
Josh, you want to provide any context?
sure, we had an intern this summer who went and looked at other land bank control policies, and then I reviewed them and kind of helped put in specific information for our land bank. And Laura and I both, and reviewed them, and then I had the Pat, who I assume looked at them, at least briefly, put them in their mind. But yeah, they were from other land banks and other, they've been added and used before.
So, to Bob's point, we'll send out all the policies to everyone, so you can review each one of them if you so choose. But we just think it's best to make sure that the committees have the ability to review and determine that, they are comfortable with these policies before we adopt them.
So,
They're wrong.
Yeah.
They're plain English, I'm pretty sure.
so I'm sorry, and you'll circulate
Yeah.
those here, coming up sometimes shortly?
Yep.
Okay. Any other topics that board members wanted to discuss here at today's meeting? Any jokes, Brad? In that case, can I get a motion for us to adjourn? Thank you, Orlando. Seconded, Deborah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you.
Look at that. Those smiles.
Efficiency.
Right, that's right, government efficiency.